So welcome everyone to the Women's Business Center at JEDI. We're based in Northern California. We host webinars once a month to support you in starting, growing, expanding, scaling, and loving your business. And so my name is Joy Taylor. I'm going to be your host today. But our topic is double your sales. And so we're going to talk a lot about sales. I'll introduce our speaker in a moment. The webinar is brought to you by the Women's Business Center at JEDI, where potential becomes prosperity. If you are in far North California, would love to work with you. We are funded in part by the Small Business Administration, which allows us to offer low-cost training and workshops, and also free business and financial consultations, tax prep, business planning, loan application assistance, and advanced business development. So feel free to reach out to us. But right now, right here in this moment, we are ready to learn, I hope, about sales and doubling our sales and connecting with other people in a way that assists them in making decisions. So what I like to recommend is, as we move forward, you can get the best out of this webinar if you devote your time to it. Take notes. You have screen size options in the upper right if you aren't familiar with Zoom. The bottom ribbons are your controls. You can type questions in the chat area. So you see that little question chat. Please type questions, and I know that also our speaker is going to be a bit interactive today and ask you to put things in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat. I see Linda Fitzgerald. She said hi, and hi Linda, we're so happy to have you. Okay, and then most importantly, enjoy this and apply it to your business. There's a lot here that you can just immediately utilize to grow your business. I already mentioned the chat bar, so utilize the chat. If it's a question, you would want to start with a Q, as in question, and then type in the question so I can monitor those. So our guest is Joanna Sapir. She is a sales and marketing coach, a national champion Olympic-style weightlifter, and commander-in-chief in the Ginger Army, comprised of the two redheaded sons and a redheaded boyfriend she lives with in Sonoma County. She's been a teacher and mentor her whole life, from the classroom to the gym floor, and now in business across the world, helping coaches, consultants, health and wellness practitioners that are skilled at their craft and passionate about what they do. She helps them build profitable, sustainable, and fulfilling businesses. And Joanna is someone I recently met at a conference on online marketing down in Southern California, and I instantly felt by the comments she made in the dialogue and the discussions that she knows what she's talking about. So it was my pleasure to invite her on to meet our community. And Joanna, I'm thrilled that you're going to enlighten us on how to really, really, really help people say yes to our services.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here, Joy, and thanks for the invitation to talk about how to double your sales without more marketing. So if everybody's here, let's go right into it. You know, in my work as a business coach, I meet a lot of small service business owners that tell me they need more help with marketing. And maybe you can relate. They say they need more leads, they need more people to walk in the door or call or email. And so they think they need to do more marketing. If I were to ask you what the most important step is that you could take right now to get more clients and double your sales, is that what you'd say? More marketing? Well, what if you were wrong? What if you could get more clients and double your sales without more marketing? So I'd like to tell you a story about my client, Michelle, who did just that. Michelle is an English and accent coach. And when Michelle first came to me, she had clients, but it wasn't enough. She wasn't making enough money in her business each month, and it felt like a struggle to grow. So she told me she needed more leads, and she asked if I could help her with marketing her business. But when I did an assessment of her business, it turned out that she was actually getting leads. Through her website and a Yelp listing, she got about 5 inquiries a month, either by email or phone. But she had no process to take those leads and turn them into clients. So this is actually a sales problem, not a marketing problem. And once we solved this problem, once Michelle implemented the leadership sales system and learned how to convert her prospects into long-term clients, she doubled her income without more marketing. She says, I now have steps to get more clients. About 80% of leads are now becoming clients, and my clients are more successful. I'm finally reaching my goals of a steady income and client success. It has really made all the difference in the world for my business. You see, if right now you're getting 5 prospects a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, right? But you have no sales system or method for converting those prospects into long-term clients, then you might get a client or 2 out of those 5, maybe not any. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you know your exact numbers? Do you track your sales conversions and know the percentage of prospects that you convert to clients each month? Well, what if you had a reliable, predictable sales system? One where you could potentially get 3 or 4 or 5 clients from the exact same pool of 5 prospects and double your sales. So I'd actually like to hear from all of you right now. And Joy, I'm going to ask for your assistance in helping read some of the comments people put in chat. I have a couple questions for all of you. First of all, how would you rate your own skills in doing sales? And another way to think about this is consultations or enrollment calls. Like, do you feel like you're clueless about it? Do you feel like it's hit or miss? Do you feel fairly confident in your ability, but maybe you don't like doing it? Or maybe you're a rock star and you love making sales. Maybe it's one of your favorite parts of business. I would love to hear where any of you are at. So
I'll give you some comments here. We've got Yvonne saying hit or miss. We've got King Ya, pretty clueless. Heidi says learning, but it's not easy. Christina says a 3 out of 5. And that's what we got so far, Joanna.
Okay.
Oh, here's another one. I feel confident, but most of the time it's hit or miss. Thank you, Nikki. Elena said, depends on the customer. Great at business to business, needs some work on direct to consumer. And Jeanine says hit or miss.
Awesome.
Hit or miss from Norma.
Okay, you guys this is going to be great for you. So another question, a quickie. Do you right now track the number of kind of leads, prospects, and sales that you make each month? Do you always track those? Do you kind of sort of sometimes, or no, you don't at all?
Okay, I'm typing it in the chat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I've got Nikki saying no tracking. I do not track from another one. Christina, never. Norma, no tracking. Yvonne, sometimes. Okay. Yes, I track from Janine.
Okay, great. Well, I have a free resource to give you guys to help you start that. And last question I have is despite whatever you offer clients, what do clients usually buy from you? Do they buy single sessions or blocks of sessions or hours? Or do you have some kind of long-term program that you sell that they commit to? So single sessions. Why don't you say that again so people really understand the question? Single sessions? Do most of your clients buy single sessions or hours from you, or maybe a block of sessions or hours, or is there a long-term program commitment that they're making? Oh, we've got one of your fans that said, because of you, I no longer offer single sessions. Who's that? That was King Ya. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Alina says one-on-one coaching packages with multiple sessions. We have a single service, and that individual is in the health industry, I know. Someone else, a service usually one at a time. Single services and varies. Okay. All right. Great. Thanks. Well, I'm going to move on then. Now I get a little clearer picture of all of you. So thank you. I want to tell you that I was in the same boat as many of you are once too. So about 10 years ago, I started a fitness business based on the passion I had really for how fitness and strength training could transform a person's life. It had transformed mine, and I wanted to share that amazing process with others. I had been a high school teacher for the previous 10 years, and I had always been athletic. So I already knew I had the teaching and athletic skills to help people through an amazing and transformational journey through fitness. What I didn't realize was that I had no experience or knowledge around business. Or maybe a more accurate thing to say was I didn't realize that that was such a problem. You see, providing an amazing service for people does not mean that you can and will have a successful business. It's sad, but it's true. There are plenty of service business owners, health coaches, nutritionists, bookkeepers, marketers, copywriters, body workers who are really skilled and gifted at their craft and helping their own clients achieve amazing results towards their goals, but are struggling in their businesses because they don't have business systems in place. Well, back when I started that first business, I didn't have any business systems in place. And in fact, I really didn't know anything about marketing or sales or any of the business stuff. So people would email my business or contact me through the website, or they'd call, or they'd even show up in person. And I had no process for converting these people into clients. So often the first question they'd ask was, how much does it cost? And I'd answer, and they'd say, okay, I'll get back to you. And then I'd never hear from them again. And the really sad part about this is that I know so many of those people could have improved their lives for the better had they become clients. I knew that the service I was providing could truly help them transform their health and fitness, but they walked away because I didn't know how to communicate to them. I didn't know how to enroll them in the very services they were seeking and needing and coming to me about. So when one of these prospects didn't walk away after hearing the price and did want to keep talking, they would often ask if they could just drop in and try it out. They weren't ready to actually commit. So my business, it wasn't failing exactly. There was money coming in, but it wasn't a sustainable business. It wasn't one where I could forecast my income and budget my spending and create a real plan for the growth of my business and the revenue. I sure couldn't guarantee that this was going to support my family the way I needed it to. So I knew I had to make changes and learn how to build my business right. And the first thing I learned and developed in my business was a sales process. So why was learning sales such an important step? And this is important because having a sales system that predictably converts your prospects into clients means that you can figure out exactly what you need to do to have more cash. And more cash means you can invest in other areas for your business growth. So before I learned sales, I wasn't even sure how much money my business was bringing in each month. After I built a sales system, I was bringing in $24,000 per month in predictable forecasted revenue. And just think about that. That gave me immense power as a business owner to plan for my business development and future growth and to take my business where I wanted to take it. I was able to scale and grow and hire a team. This was all part of my vision. And I had a systematized business that ran without me so that I was able to travel with my kids. This is one of my favorite pictures, a picture of them in Croatia. While my business not only kept running, but it kept growing, even in my absence. So eventually I sold that business and I started this one specifically to teach people like you all how to build profitable and sustainable businesses. I specifically work with one-on-one service providers that are highly skilled at providing their services, passionate about what they do, but might not have their business systems totally dialed in yet. So this webinar is really especially for you if you're great at providing your service, passionate about helping people, and know your services can transform your clients' lives for the better, but you don't always know how exactly to show that to them. If you're getting consultations or discovery calls scheduled, but they're not the right people for what you offer, or they say they can't afford your services, or they simply don't want to commit, maybe you don't even know why. If you've got paying clients that are flaking and not doing their part so you can't help them get the results they're looking for, this system actually addresses that too. Or if you simply don't know how to turn a lead into a prospect into a paying client, this is going to be great. Now, you're not in the right place if you sell a physical product rather than a service, and if you really only intend to get clients through digital online sales with no personal interaction, like you only want to send people to a link where they put a credit card in via computer, because the process I'm going to teach, you do speak directly with your prospects and use interpersonal skills. I will just say, Joy, and to all of you that, if you do sell a physical product and you're here, I'm sure you can get some nuggets and insight, but you should just know that who I'm talking to is service providers. So what I'm going to do today is take you through 5 principles to double your sales without more marketing. And I want you to imagine, what would that mean to your business and to you? I'd love to hear some quick comments before we move on. What would it do for you if you were to double your sales over the next few months? Imagine knowing exactly how to get great long-term clients. Imagine meeting your financial goals with a steady income. Imagine having a successful, profitable business that allows you the freedom to live your life as you want.
All right, I put it in the chat. If you doubled your sales, what would it do for you? Someone says, I can hire 2 assistants. Great comment.
Yeah, free up some time, get more help, be able to grow more, impact more people. Anyone else?
Financial security would mean significantly less stress.
Yes.
A housekeeper, afford to improve my skills, to invest in education.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, good. I hope that's exciting to you, because it's totally possible with the right systems in place in your business. So if you guys are ready to dig in, I say, let's do it. This is the time to close any other windows you have open. Put your phone on silent and be present, because I am going to drop a lot of nuggets here, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Put them in the chat. We'll have a Q&A at the end for sure, but Joy might interrupt in the middle too for some questions. I do encourage you to take notes, but also know that because people always ask me for the slide deck and more information afterwards, I'm happy to send that to you and some of the resources I'll be mentioning. Joy, do you still have that link and you can stick it in chat?
It has been done. It's in the chat for
All right.
Joanna Sapir, the JEDI freebies.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. So just pop your email address in there, and after the webinar is done, I'll send you all these things: the PDF of this slide deck, a sales tracker spreadsheet, and the 5 stages of the sales pipeline.
I want to say, for anyone listening to the recording, that if you're listening on YouTube, the link is at the bottom of the page. And if you are, if you got the recording via an email, the link was sent to you in the email.
Awesome. Right. Are you guys ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. These are 5 principles. So principle number 1 is aim for the bullseye and use a sharp arrow. To make more sales, you need to be talking to the right people for your business, the ideal person you'd like to serve. And I call this the bullseye of your target. Think about if you were playing darts, or maybe you're actually into archery or marksmanship. When you're aiming for a target, where do you aim? You aim for the bullseye. You don't aim for one of the rings around the bullseye, you aim for the bullseye. And it's the same in your business. You need to know who exactly your bullseye clients are, their pains and problems, their goals and desires in their own words. These are the most ideal clients for you, the people you love to work with, the people that happily pay for your services, the people you serve best, the people that get the best results. And you might be thinking, but I can help anyone. There are so many people that need my service. I would love to help anyone that wants my help. But this is like shooting your arrow into the air and just seeing where it will land. It's ineffective when it comes to growing your business. If you're shooting an arrow, you want to aim for the bullseye, and you want to use a sharp arrow so it sticks. You do this by using the right language, by using the exact words that your ideal client uses him or herself to describe how they identify themselves and their problems and goals. So one example, Evan Mark-Katz is a dating coach for smart, strong, successful women. You see how that calls out to a specific identity? It's for women who think of themselves as smart, strong, and successful. It doesn't even necessarily mean they are smart, strong, and successful. It means they identify themselves as that way. Another example is Santa Rosa Strength and Conditioning. This is actually my former business, and this is a headline we use that was the bullseye of our target market. Get stronger, be pain-free, and actually start to enjoy exercise again. This is calling out to a specific person. It doesn't say anything about weight loss. It's not calling out to people that say they want to lose weight. It's specifically calling out to people who say they want to be stronger, who have some aches and pains of some sort and want to get rid of that, and who are exercising but not enjoying it. This was very carefully crafted based on our target market. And our target market was people who already belonged to a mainstream gym and went to the gym like they were supposed to, but just didn't enjoy it and didn't find it effective. So this is really powerful stuff when you're able to get this specific. I want to tell you about one of my clients, Sharon. She's a therapist, and I've changed her name to protect her confidentiality. And what happened when she implemented this principle and started aiming for the bullseye and using a sharp arrow? When she first came to me, she was burned out from working with seriously dysfunctional people. She wanted to make a shift. She wanted to work with high-performing professionals who weren't quite achieving all of their goals in life because of past trauma. So she began talking exactly to those people. So here's a screenshot from one piece of her website. You've created a good life for yourself. You have a meaningful relationship and lucrative career. Yet deep inside, you know more is possible and you want to take your success to the next level. Something is in the way. You've tried lots of techniques, but nothing has worked. Are you ready to find out what's actually going on? And as a result, she's attracting exactly the people she most wants to work with. Very soon after we changed the messaging on her website, and that was just one snippet of it, she posted this in our private Facebook group. I just got a call from a potential new client who chose me from our practitioner directory because my website message really resonates with what she's looking for. You see, when you aim for the bullseye and use a sharp arrow, you will attract the most ideal clients for you, the people you love to work with, the people you serve best, the people you get the best results from your service, the people that happily pay for your service, the people that provide you energy because you're working with them. So that's principle number one. Principle number two is don't sell to strangers. We buy from people that we feel a connection with and that we relate to. We buy from people that we know, like, and trust, right? So why do so many small service business owners do things like plaster their town with flyers or their social media pages with posts, trying to sell their services to what in marketing we call a cold audience? That's people you haven't built a relationship with yet. A cold audience is people that have never heard of you. They don't know you. There's no relationship. So when you try to sell something to people with whom you have no relationship, it's kind of like walking up to a complete stranger and asking them to marry you, or even ask them on a date. That's awkward and weird and somewhat inappropriate, right? It is the standard practice for large corporate stores and products. It's what Seth Godin calls old-fashioned industrial marketing. But it doesn't work in small service businesses like ours, and it's not a sustainable or predictable strategy for sales. And it's also pretty obnoxious, right? Please buy, please buy, please buy from me. And yet plenty of small service business owners keep trying to do it. And it keeps not working because they're trying to sell to strangers with ads like this. And so then they start offering discounts and specials to try to spark sales. And then they complain and say things like social media marketing doesn't work. And they say, I need to redo my website, thinking that that's going to fix everything and increase sales. It won't. Having a beautiful website and posting on all the social media channels won't actually get you more clients unless you stop trying to sell your services to strangers, you start building relationships instead, and then you do this one thing. Offer a free consultation. If you want to build your business with great, committed, long-term clients instead of one-offs or single sessions or discounts and specials, offer an invitation to a complimentary consultation. That's where you make sales. You can name it whatever you want. You can call it a discovery call, a strategy session, a breakthrough session, whatever fits, assessment, evaluation, audit. You can say free or complimentary before that. You can put business-specific descriptive words in front of it, like a complimentary business profitability assessment or an English fluency strategy session, an upper limits breakthrough session. You can get creative with the name, and you can also just call it a free consultation. Now, once a lead has accepted your free offer for a consultation, now they're your prospect. And this is an important distinction that many service-based business owners miss. Just because someone seemed interested in what you do, maybe they met you at a networking event or a party, that doesn't mean they're an actual prospect yet. Even if they said something like, can I have your business card? The lead needs to accept your invitation to a free consultation before you consider them a prospect. By offering a free consultation, you're creating the first of a series of stepping stones, one step at a time, to get to know you better, to trust you, and to like you. Each stepping stone invites your lead or prospect to take a new step closer to your front door. And this is ideal. When you're trying to pull people towards you, they feel your neediness, and it comes off as salesy. They feel like you want something from them. So instead, what you do is you clear this path to your door and you lay down these stepping stones for them to come to you. And offering a free consultation is a really, really important step on that path. Now, what do you do when someone is at your front door knocking? Do you open the door and let them in? You actually don't. Principle 3 is to install a red velvet rope policy. Choose your clients as carefully as you choose your friends, says Michael Port. So you want to work with people that you love serving, people that fire you up, people that you're excited to help. That's really how you'll do your best work. But often service-based business owners fall into a trap, especially when they're new or are struggling financially. They take on clients just for the money. They take on people and work that's not what they really want to be doing or who they really want to be serving. And when you're struggling financially, it seems like an obvious choice that you should accept paid work from whoever is knocking at your door. But it often doesn't end well. And it's doing this as part of what I call a freelancer mindset or a self-employed mindset. By accepting any client that wants your work and will pay, you essentially become their employee. You work for them. You do what they say. You've given up your leadership and you're not the expert in this scenario. Instead, you're just a person with some skills like anyone else that has your skills that they're paying to complete the work they want and need. In the worst case scenarios, you may be treated badly by the client, yelled at, disrespected, not paid according to your agreement. And in the best case scenario, you are getting clients, but you're shaping yourself to fit their needs and never actually building your own business with a clear vision, clear offer, a clear market, a clear message, or consistent, predictable income. But that's not the worst part. What's really detrimental about accepting clients that you don't particularly like or resonate with is you start to resent them, and that shows up in your work. And this is exactly the situation my client Janelle, a corporate recruiter, was in. So she recruits employees for corporations. This is what she wrote to me when she applied for a consultation. After working like a crazy person, sacrificing relationships and self-care, 2 years later, here I am, burnt out and feeling underpaid and stuck. As of late, I find myself unmotivated to continue in this business. Overall, Janelle had been operating as a freelancer or as self-employed, grateful to get work where she could. She was working her butt off for other people. She was charging too little. In her case, it was $2,000 a month. These are to big, giant companies. And she would work until the job was done, which might take 1 month, it might take 3. And then she'd invoice them after the whole job was done. So she wasn't even getting paid while she was working so hard. And the result was that she was not making enough money and she was hating it. She wasn't seeing herself as the business owner and leader that she really is. She had no red velvet rope policy or any other part of a sales system in place. She took any client that would pay her. So think of the image of a red velvet rope. You see it at fancy events that are not open to everyone. To be let through the red velvet rope into the event, your name has to be on the list, right? Well, this is what you create for your business. This is a step that allows you to choose your clients, to work with people that inspire your best work, to work with people that you really want to succeed. By being selective about who you work with, you feel more fulfilled. You're rewarded with the energy and drive to continue creating and reaching for new goals in your business, and you actually make more money too. Your red velvet rope policy is how you filter out people who don't want to pay for your prices or who aren't a good fit for you in any way. You get to decide the criteria. So back to Janelle, in her work with me, she built and implemented the leadership sales system with a red velvet rope policy. And not quite 3 months into working with me, this is what happened. She made a $48,000 sale. It was $4,000 per month for 12 months, with the money automatically deposited into her account each month. No more invoicing, and definitely not after the fact. And so with this one sale, she made more than she had in all of 2017. Then just a few weeks later, she sent me this update about another of her clients. I renegotiated our contract. They signed on for a 6-month contract at $54,000 and hired an admin to help me, LOL. Plus, they added an ad hoc position for this month at $6,000. So in the course of 1 month, Janelle went from making $2,000 a month, maybe, in unpredictable income to $102,000 plus in sales. And that's predictable revenue forecasted to come in over the next 6 to 12 months, like it's automatically dropped into her account. So it's amazing. And I'm sure you can imagine how happy she is. But furthermore, you can also see that she created new boundaries with her clients. And because she was now thinking as a business owner and being a leader, her clients responded by giving her what she needed to do the job well. And in this case, it was an admin. This is what you get when you step into your leadership as a business owner. And an important way to do that and send a signal to your prospective clients that you are a leader, that you are discerning, and that you don't just take anyone that will pay is with your red velvet rope policy. So your prospect is standing at your door knocking. They accepted your invitation to a complimentary consultation. You get to decide whether this is someone you will let in or you don't. This is when you implement your red velvet rope policy. If your prospect does qualify and pass your test, then you schedule the consultation. So then what happens? Principle 4 is get in the driver's seat. You're not a passenger. The consultation is yours to lead, yours to drive. It's when you enroll a new client into a great service that you offer, if they're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for them. It's where you make your sales. This is where the rubber hits the road, because it doesn't matter how great you are at providing your service. If you don't know how to do a consultation right, your prospect isn't going to move forward with you. On the other hand, if you do know how to give good consultations, you can convert 80% of your prospects into great long-term clients. And this means that for every 5 consultations you have, you can get 4 new clients. How great would that be? So to do that, it's essential that you get in the driver's seat and lead the consultation. So I want to tell you all a story now where you're going to hear what not to say is the opposite of getting in the driver's seat. This is what it looks like when you put your prospect in the driver's seat instead of getting in yourself, okay? I was the prospective client in this case. I had scheduled a consultation with a woman that provides college counseling for high school students. And I was looking for support for my son, who was just starting his junior year of high school. This is actually just last September. He's still a junior. So his school has given him very little guidance around college. And education is a very high value for me. I had an incredible college experience. It's where I discovered my calling to teach. It's where I really grew up and came into my own. And I would love for my son to have an equally meaningful college education. But I'm worried that without the right support, he won't know how to navigate the college admissions process. I sure don't know how to. And the truth is, he doesn't actually seem that interested in college at all. So there's a little background as to why I was looking for a college counselor for him. Now, in your consultations, you should start with questions to uncover exactly this type of information, to understand the pains and problems and the goals and desires of your prospective client. Why are they reaching out for help? What exactly is it they want to achieve, and why is that important to them? So had this college counselor started her consultation with me by simply asking something like, what prompted you to reach out to me today? I would have started explaining some of the stuff I had just said, and then she could have gotten deeper and asked me specific questions from there. But instead, she did exactly what I teach my clients not to do at the start of the consult. She gave up her leadership and position as an expert, and she put me in the driver's seat. She asked me, so what services are you looking for? There were no questions about my son, his interests, what school is like for him, his visions for his future, my hopes for him. There could have been so much rich information shared with her, information that would have informed her whether we're a good match for her and she for us, information that would have helped her determine exactly how to serve us best, and perhaps most importantly, information she needed in order to recommend to me a specific service she provides. Her opportunity to be a leader and demonstrate her expertise and to identify our problems and then offer us solutions, her solutions, was lost with that one wrong question in the first second. So my answer to her was a stumble. Well, counseling, that's what your website says. And she responded, okay, yes, well, let me tell you about that. And then she launched into the feature, the list of all the things of her service package. She was pitching. She did all talking. I could barely stay engaged. And finally, she gets to the price and asks me if I'm interested. I am definitely not. She's made no personal connection with me. She doesn't know anything about me or my son, not even his name. In your consultations, you need to establish a personal connection with your prospect from the first second. And you need to start uncovering their feelings, their problems, their pains, their goals, their desires. Having this information is essential to making sure that they're a good fit for you and you for them, and for recommending the right service so that you can help them get the results they seek. Your consultation or discovery call is not a pitch, and it can and should be totally authentic, totally meaningful, and a totally unsalesy process that enrolls new clients easily and effortlessly. Now, it's worth noting that there are a lot of things in life that are simple ideas but hard to execute. Well, the 10-step consultation process I teach is the opposite of that. The fundamentals behind it are actually quite complex, but once you learn how to do the process, it's easy to do. And it can actually be one of the most fulfilling parts of your business. You can fall in love with sales. So some of my clients had already had sales training when they came to me, but they didn't like the way they felt when they were doing consultations, the way they were previously taught. They felt like they were being salesy, and that how they were leading their consultations was really just all about closing the sale and getting the client, regardless of whether it was really the best choice for the prospect. So I'm really proud that my clients, after they learn the leadership sales system, say the exact opposite of the process. My client Dylan was one of the people who had previously learned how to do consultations elsewhere. And after learning and implementing the leadership sales system, he said, the whole process feels much more authentic and enjoyable and enables me to start establishing a relationship with each client in the sales process itself. My client Hannah said, Joanna equipped me to do sales in a way that feels very authentic and true to myself, which has been so helpful and actually fun. And as a result, I've exceeded my sales goals for my new package at my new, much increased price. Sasha says, I feel very empowered, and I just keep learning how much I actually love sales when it's coming from the heart, when it's authentic. It feels like I'm really standing in my value. I have something beautiful to offer, and if you're a match, here it is.
Joanna, I've got a question that came in.
Yeah.
So this is the question. How do I do this by email? My clients are global and contact me for quotes on creating a business plan. So this is a consultant that builds business plans. They contact her through her website.
Yep. The short answer is you still just schedule a consultation, and then your red velvet rope policy can either be done via phone or via online application where you filter people out and then you have the consultation. That's the kind of question, I mean, we could get to at the end, but those are just really specific details. Did that answer what you're asking?
If she has another one, I'm just going to request she asks it and we'll save it to the end, but great.
Okay. So principle 5, and this is our final principle, is learn from Goldilocks. When you do have a prospect that's a great fit for your services and wants to work with you, it's so important that you have the right package or program for them to get the best possible results. And this is what we learned from Goldilocks. Not too much, not too little, but just right. And if you're selling single sessions or blocked hours or sessions, you may actually be doing both yourself and your clients a disservice. So let me explain. I'll never forget the client that taught me what's wrong with single sessions or packages of sessions. His name was Greg, and this was back in my first business, the fitness business, in just my second year. He came to the business for personal training, and his goals were pretty simple. He wanted to look good. He wanted to look muscular in particular. He worked in sales, and he felt that the stronger and fitter he looked, the better his sales numbers, that kind of guy. So he bought a package of 10 personal training sessions because that's the kind of thing I offered at the time. And so here's how it went. The first 2 weeks, he was gung-ho, and he came in for 2 or 3 sessions each week. And then the next few weeks, he had 1, and then he skipped 2 weeks, and when he came back in, he started complaining that he wasn't seeing results. That's classic, right? We can see from the outside that he simply wasn't doing what he needed to do to see results. He wasn't consistent, was really what it is. But guess what? That was my fault for selling him a block of sessions. I should have sold him a program that would provide the results he was looking for. It might have been something like 6 months of working out twice a week with a nutrition plan and recovery work to do at home. How would that have changed things? He would have seen the results he wanted and been a happy camper. He would have realized that it was a no-brainer to continue the training. He'd be looking and feeling great and telling everyone about my service. And I'd be a happy and fulfilled business owner because I'd be helping my client achieve the success he was looking for. It could have been an all-around win. Instead, Greg didn't get results. He didn't buy a new package of sessions, of course. And so he left as a client that was unserved by me and still had a problem he needed solved. And he probably told other people out in the community about that too. Again, that was my fault for not setting up my service model to truly get the best results for my clients. And I'm stating here that a per session or hourly model is usually not set up to provide your clients the real results they're looking for. So I've been on the client side of this too. I'm a competitive Olympic style weightlifter, like Joy mentioned in the introduction, if you caught that, that's me. And I'm also in my 40s. So taking care of my body is super important to me. And body work is a big piece of my self-care and my maintenance. Over the years, I've been fortunate to work with some incredibly gifted body workers that are great at what they do and truly help me keep my body functioning optimally. But they've always offered only single sessions or sometimes a package of sessions. What they're doing is they're selling me their time. And I don't want to buy their time. I want to buy results. I have specific goals for my body, and this work is an essential part of helping me meet my goals. And yet I'm left on my own to figure out or decide, how frequently I want to be seen, for example. The body workers are the experts. So they should know my goals as a client, and they should be able to give me an assessment of maybe the condition of my soft tissue, and they should be giving me their expert recommendation of my treatment and care should be, the type, the frequency. There might even be other things besides body work that they believe I should be doing. But instead, they always leave it to me to decide when to come in, how frequently, and for how long, and that's all they leave me with. This is a mistake. And I'm speaking as a client here. If a body worker recommended to me based on his knowledge of my goals and my body that I get, for example, weekly massage for the next 6 months, I would happily commit to that. In fact, I'd feel great about making that clear commitment to my goals. And I'd be super stoked that I have this body worker in my corner, like on my team, helping me achieve those goals. The point here is that your service packages should be based on providing great results for your ideal clients. And single sessions or hours don't do that. This is no different for those of you that provide one-on-one services outside of health and fitness or wellness. For example, my client Megan is the owner of Sweet Bee Organizing, a personal and professional organizing service. She was literally trading time for dollars when we met. She was charging by the hour in sessions of 4 to 8 hours at a time. So what she'd do is she'd show up at a client's house, work for 5 hours, then get paid for 5 hours, then schedule the next visit. So the only way for her to make more money was to schedule more hours, show up at the job, get a check. She was so busy fulfilling these hours in order to make a living that she often wasn't able to respond to new inquiries coming in via her website, so she lost business. And then sometimes a client would cancel their scheduled slot, and suddenly she had an opening, but it was too late to get back to anyone else that wanted that time, so this meant she just wasn't getting paid. Her income was unpredictable and couldn't support her, so she stayed in a corporate job that she hated. The fix to all of this? The right packaging. She stopped selling her hours and started selling packages, the whole job done, which is what the client actually wants, right? The clients don't want hours from you. They want the job done. They want the results. And that's what you need to be offering and selling, the results, not your hours or sessions. So what happened with Megan? After reorganizing her packages and putting in place the other steps I teach in the leadership sales system, she made a $5,500 sale and then an $8,500 one. And it just kept going from there. These packages were set up with an automated payment plan, independent of whether the client needed to cancel or reschedule a time. And remember, I told you she was still working a corporate job that she hated because her business wasn't making enough money to support her. Well, she got to quit that, and now her business supports her. She says, I've grown in so many ways. I have more confidence in myself. I'm learning how to think as a business owner instead of just a worker. I've completely changed the way I charge for my services, and I've stepped out on my own, and I'm running my business and supporting myself. So if you're still trading time for dollars, I encourage you to design service offerings that actually help your clients achieve their larger goals. Think about helping them get optimal results and what that would take. And learn from Goldilocks. Not too much, not too little, just right. So those are the 5 big idea principles to double your sales without more marketing. A quick review. We had principle 1, aim for the bullseye and use a sharp arrow. The second principle, don't sell to strangers. The third principle is install a red velvet rope policy. The fourth principle, get in the driver's seat, lead. And the fifth principle is learn from Goldilocks. So when it comes to implementing those principles with my clients, I break them down into actual practical strategies and tactics. And in the leadership sales system, we actually build each piece of your sales pipeline in your business together. And I want to point out that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts here. This is a step-by-step system that when put all together is a slam dunk for helping people double their sales and grow their businesses. And while I surely hope that the big picture principles that I presented today were eye-opening and hopefully you got some nuggets, the real results, of course, come from putting it all together and implementing. If you'd like help from me to build a predictive system in your business, I invite you to apply with me to join the next cohort of the Leadership Sales Program. That starts the week of February 18th, but it's already enrolling now. Joy's going to drop a link in comments there for that. If you click on that link, if this is something you want to do, the first step is to schedule the consultation, and after you've chosen your time, you'll be taken to an application which you complete. So I'm ready to get to questions.
Great.
But first, I'd love to hear, what was the most useful thing to you from this webinar? What's the most important idea or nugget you're walking away with? Please share that, and then we'll get into questions.
Yes, yes, yes. I really recommend that everyone in the chat, what was the big takeaway for you? And while you're typing that in the chat, you know, there were so many takeaways. So stop selling to strangers. Yeah, you can just pop in there one of the principles that you want to really work with. Another person, build relationships, don't sell to strangers. I like the idea of selling a result rather than selling time. Stop selling to strangers. Sell the big picture. Great. Okay. So I wanted to, let's see, invite people to ask more questions. Here's a new message. So let's see what velvet rope policy was feedback. There she is. We've got her live. This is a great opportunity. Someone said, I'm relieved to know that I don't have to spend so much time marketing on social media and not get a return on my time. Is there anyone who has a specific question? Here we go. Would love some insight for a new business into how to start understanding what results clients, customers need. So it's kind of a vague question. Do you want to be a little bit more specific, or does that make sense to you, Joanna?
So I can see the chat now, which is great. So have you ever served a client with this service before? And maybe it wasn't paid, maybe it was free, but have you ever served somebody? That's where you're going to grade. So that's where you're going to get that data from. So understanding the results is really about talking to your people, just like understanding the pains, problems, goals, and desires. And that language, when I said use a sharp arrow, getting their language is not something you make up. You just listen to their language and you record it and you put that right back out. You don't have to worry about sounding right. Like what's going to attract the right people. You simply reflect back to them what they're telling you. So, how to start understanding what results your clients and customers need is talking to them.
Perfect. Another question came in. Are there more points under the what not to say category?
I think the big ideas are for sure not, you're taking leadership. So some of the main what not to say is it's not a pitch. That's not what it is. That's part of that. Like when you're saying, well, I have this, do you want this? That's where people kind of feel, it's like the dating analogy is often given, and it's a good one. It's like, when somebody clearly likes you more than you like them and they're coming on too strong and you haven't met in the middle, that's what you want to avoid doing in your consultations, is you're meeting somebody in the middle and meeting them where they are,
So we're getting comments. Thanks, Joy and Joanna. Any other specific questions? We have just a couple minutes before we're going to close out the webinar.
I'm so glad I made it on time. I was worried.
Oh, I am so glad you made it. We made it, and that you shared so much quality information that's really just part of your bigger system. And so I just want to remind people, and I'll go ahead and put this in the chat, if you want to sign up for a consultation, which is what you call it, Joanna, to see if this program is a match for you, then you can do that via the link above. Set up a time to connect. I'm really appreciating how you model also, Joanna, how to give a great quality presentation with offering people who want to go further something free, and then also an opportunity to look into your program. So for those of you who sell from webinar or sell from stage, this was a great example of how to really give quality content that fits within a larger framework, to use case studies and examples to support people in if they choose going further. So I sure didn't feel a sales from you. I felt quality information and an opportunity to go further. And so this is joy being a teacher for a moment, but I really wanted to point that out. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Joanna.
Something I want to kind of piggyback there is if any of you are doing things like webinars or presentations of some sort online, there's a lot of online gurus out there teaching. You send somebody to a sales page where they click the button to buy now and stick their credit card in. And I just want to point out, like, that's absolutely a method for making sales. But if you right now if you're not making the income you want, the conversion rate on one-on-one consultations is drastically higher. We're talking about the difference between like 3% conversion and like I'm proposing 80%. It's just a huge difference. But the other thing, I want to combine two things here. Nina asked, does Joanna do the consultation or one of her staff? I do them. And this is a very important point I want to make. In my business, that red velvet rope policy, I work very closely with my clients. Even in my group program, it's like practically one-on-one, just in a small group setting. And I only want to work with people that I really want to work with. So my consultation process is absolutely making sure that that fit is perfect. And so of course I'm doing it because I'm the one doing the work with my clients. And I propose that you will build a better business by doing the same.
Great. So we could go on and maybe we'll do something in the future, like how to give a webinar, because you did a really wonderful job. And so we did have one last question, then we'll go through the slides. Someone asked, how does your business grow in your absence?
Well, that's a much bigger question than we're going to get to today. But you could reach out and ask me and I'll let you know.
All right. Well, I do know that I joined your email list about 9 months ago, and I really enjoy also the content that you send just via your emails. They're very full of quality, and I also really appreciate your use of case studies and client experiences. It helps us all relate to the possibility of what we can really accomplish. So I had a couple more announcements and slides, if you don't mind, Joanna. But first, let's all thank you, Joanna. You guys chat your comments. How was this webinar for you? Some of you shared what you got out of it, but if there's anything else you want to say, we love your comments. Thank you, Joanna. Thanks, Joanna. Excellent. A good value for the time invested. I like hearing that. Yes, we all invested pretty much an hour. Very helpful from Heidi. Super. Well, we do our best at the Women's Business Center at JEDI to have these webinars once a month and bring people like Joanna on. And so by being on this webinar, you're now on our list for free webinars. So you can opt out at any time, but otherwise we'll send you the announcements of what's coming. And I'm looking forward to a slew of wonderful webinars in marketing, in sales, in financials, in organization, in mindset, and so much more. Also, we do things in person. Just two of our upcoming events that are worth sharing on February 11th. If you're in the Reading area, highly recommend this program. It's a 3-part in-person workshop with Michael, and it's Master Your Business Financials and Make Them Work for You. He's a fabulous teacher, and he knows QuickBooks, he knows accounting, he knows budgets. And if you're going to get the tracking sheet from Joanna on sales, I bet you anything he's going to help you see how that will help you create a cash flow. And then he'll also be doing it online. So that's on our website, e-jedi.org. And then just reach out to us if you are up here in Redding area. We're in Siskiyou, Shasta, Trinity, and Humboldt counties, and we love to work with you. You can reach out to me directly at joy.taylor@e-jedi.org, or join our mailing list, or reach out to have what we call a discovery session, which is a full 40 minutes where you will be meeting with one of our coaches, and they'll be asking you questions about your business, your goals, your dreams, and then acting as like a concierge to see how our center could help you. And then once again, if you want the specific training that Joanna is an expert at, please click those links, get her handouts, and then also you can schedule a consultation with her. So I think that's what we've got to say today. I look forward to seeing you all next month. Joanna, any last ahas, like want to leave us with a high note?
Well, it's a pleasure being here. I look forward to hearing from anybody that reaches out, and anybody that signed up for the handouts, I'll send them shortly, and enjoy, and feel free to reply to that email, and we can chat.
All right, and if you are watching the recording or the YouTube channel, just go down below and you'll get the links, and you can get in touch with either the Women's Business Center or Joanna, or both. All right, blessings to all of you. Thank you.
Bye.